Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly fascinating board-level blueprint, and we're jumping right into it. We're looking at a master plan for transforming a massive pizza franchise from this state of fragmented, reactive chaos into a highly integrated AI powerhouse. Because look, when you're operating at this kind of scale, we're talking about why 260 stores need AI. It is no longer just a fun gimmick. It is a mandatory operating system. So if you've ever wondered how major multi-unit retail operations actually deploy artificial intelligence as a real core capability, you are in the exact right place. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, the cost of fragmented stores. Second, one intelligent AI ecosystem. Third, meet your new AI agents. Fourth, earning trust by design. And finally, the 260-store financial payoff. All right, part one, the cost of fragmented stores. The pressure of a complex network. $35.3 million. Just let that number sit for a second. That is the staggering annual cost of fragmented operations across these 260 pizza stores before any overarching AI system is introduced. When you multiply labor variability, rush peaks, and just endless daily exceptions across 260 completely separate locations without a unified system, this is the financial toll it takes every single year. It's honestly massive. Now, what's really interesting is seeing exactly where that $35 million just bleeds out. Labor inefficiency, it takes the absolute biggest hit at $15.2 million. And this comes from manual scheduling, handling exceptions, and overstaffing for rush peaks that frankly never even materialize. Then you have $11.4 million lost to inventory and waste. Actually, it's more like specific everyday slip-ups, like over-prepping dough that just goes bad. And another $8.7 million lost to order errors and friction, which includes stuff like abandoned carts and the raw cost of remaking completely botched pizzas. So this isn't just lost money, right? It's lost time and deeply frustrated customers. Moving on to part two, one intelligent AI ecosystem, turning fragmented signals into a closed-loop system. To solve this massive bleed, the blueprint introduces this brilliant concept of a store digital twin. So instead of waiting for an end-of-week report to see what went wrong retroactively, a digital twin provides a live, breathing digital environment. It connects the front counter, the kitchen, the delivery drivers, and the inventory all into one shared intelligence layer. It basically takes all those chaotic live signals and instantly translates them into the absolute best next move for the manager on the floor. It takes the impossible messy complexity of a 260-store network and simplifies it into clear local action. Let's zoom all the way in to see what this actually looks like for a real person. Picture this. You're a manager dealing with a crazy Friday night rush. Suddenly, the system alerts you. Shift 2 drivers forward and start pre-bake for the 6:30 peak. This brilliantly illustrates how AI clearly guides human decisions rather than completely replacing them. The AI sees the bottleneck forming way before the human eye can catch it, and it offers a highly specific, actionable recommendation to keep the entire store running smoothly. That specific manager moment perfectly demonstrates this whole enterprise loop in action. First, the system senses. It's taking in live signals from orders, labor, the kitchen. Second, it decides. The AI ranks the next best action, like moving those drivers forward. Third, we act. The human manager approves and actually executes the decision. And finally, the system learns. The outcome of that decision feeds right back into the model to make the next recommendation even sharper. It's a continuous, self-improving cycle. Let's move into part three. Meet your new AI agents, solving the moments that matter. Think of these agents as a highly specialized digital Stripe team working behind the scenes. You've got the order agent ensuring the customer's buying journey is completely frictionless. The shift agent is constantly balancing labor and prep times against incoming demand. The supply agent anticipates if you're literally going to run out of pepperoni before the night ends. Then you have the care agent, which is absolutely fascinating to me. It actively detects a delayed order and recovers the service, maybe by issuing a targeted apology offer before the customer even thinks about churning. And finally, the executive agent sits at the top, explaining overall performance and emerging risks to leadership. Every single agent here has a hyper-focused revenue-saving job. Section 4. Earning trust by design. Because trust is an operating capability. Now, you might be wondering, how do you get frontline crews to actually buy into this? The executives behind this blueprint know that if the store managers don't trust the AI, the whole thing falls apart instantly. That's why they lean so heavily on these 4 pillars. First and foremost, human authority. People always approve the consequential decisions. The AI suggests, the human acts. Second, explainability.
The AI can't just bark a command. It has to show exactly why it's making that recommendation. Add strict data discipline and rigorous model assurance to monitor for bias or drift, and you build a system that managers view as a genuinely helpful co-pilot, definitely not a threat.
And look, this trust is not expected overnight. It is earned slowly through a very disciplined deployment timeline. You can't just flip a giant switch for 260 distinct stores and expect zero chaos, right? No way. The first 0 to 90 days are strictly about proving the foundation in a controlled pilot. You only move to that 3 to 9 month phase of scaling those workflows once the value and trust are undeniably proven to the actual store operators. Finally, in the 9 to 18 month window, you orchestrate the full network. Finally, Section 5, the 260 store financial payoff, compounding benefits across operations. Let's zoom back out and look at the massive financial rescue mission this AI transformation delivers. In year one, while they're still piloting and building the foundation, they're already projecting $8.1 million in savings. But as the system learns and as adoption rolls out across the entire network, those benefits just stack up. By year two, you're looking at $18.3 million in savings, and by year three, a staggering $24.6 million saved annually. This is the raw power of a unified intelligence layer scaling across a massive 260-store footprint. These tiny local efficiencies just multiply into massive enterprise savings. The CFO insight here is truly incredible. When you factor in the investments required to build the whole shebang out, the 3-year cumulative net value is $44.1 million, delivering an extraordinary 287% return on investment. The payback period is just over 6 months. And here's what you really should take away from this. These numbers do not rely on some heroic pie-in-the-sky assumptions. They are based on a highly conservative 4% reduction in labor costs and a 3.2% reduction in cost of goods sold. It just requires disciplined everyday AI execution. So, what does this all mean for you? I want to leave you with this final provocative thought regarding your own operations. Look at the sheer efficiency and the seamless customer experience this blueprint provides. In today's incredibly complex and competitive retail world, will your hundreds of stores continue to operate as fragmented islands, bleeding revenue in the gaps? Or will you implement the intelligence layer required for them to learn and perform as one single, highly efficient network? Honestly, can you really afford not to? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.